Okay, let's solve some kinematics examples problems. You could title it up like this in your notes, kinematics examples, and we have two problems for you today. We have the notes we just took also with us, the equations. You should have those with you while we solve these problems, okay? So take a second to write down the question for number one. Just copy it down in your notebook, and then we're going to solve it together. Okay, now, so hopefully you've unpaused, and we're going to solve number one. So it says, actually, even before I read it, what I'm going to do every time, I'm not going to read the question. I'm going to make a list before I read the question. VI, VF, T, A, and D. You might remember those are our 5 variables. Those 5 I'm going to make in a list, even before I read my question. And I'm going to put a little equal sign next to all of them. And now while I read my question, I'm going to fill in that list. It says a drag racer accelerates starting from rest. So it starts the problem where it is at rest in the beginning. That describes how fast it's moving in the beginning is at rest. So it's not moving. In other words, it has 0 velocity in the beginning. That's right. Its initial velocity is 0. When it says it starts from rest, make a note. That means VI equals 0 right there. And it zooms for a time of 5 seconds. So that's T. Filling in my list as we go. Traveling a distance of 100 meters. Then what is the acceleration of the car? So they're asking us what to calculate acceleration. So I'm going to put a question mark next to what they ask us to solve for. Acceleration, or A. Okay, so we were given 3 numbers and we're asked to solve for a 4th, and the 5th variable, VF, doesn't have anything next to it. Doesn't seem to be important to me. Therefore, VF is our unimportant variable. I'm going to cross it out then. And that is what's going to help us choose an equation to do our calculation with. Since VF is unimportant, that means I'm choosing equation number 1. Okay, so I'm going to copy that equation down. D equals VI T plus a half AT squared. That's VI times T plus a half times A times just T squared. The squared just applies to the T. Okay? And I'm going to plug in the numbers from our list now. So D is 100. VI is 0. T is 5 plus a half times A. Oh, A is question mark, so I don't actually write anything. I just write A for that. Then T, I plug in a 5 for T again, and the 5 gets squared. And I'm looking to solve for A. So let's see what math moves I could do here now to solve for A. It's kind of over here. I have to get it all by itself. Well, I could see 0 times 5 here is going to get me 0. So that's gone. 100 equals 0 plus a half A. I'm just going to carry everything else down. A half A 5 squared plus a half A 5 squared. The 0's gone, so it looks like this. 100 equals a half A times 5 squared. Well, I think on my calculator I could do 5 squared, right? And that gets me 25. So then I could recopy it again, and it looks like this. 100 equals a half times A times 25. Now in my calculator, I could take a half of 25, and I get 12.5. And you can multiply that by A still there, and you have 100 equals 12.5 times A. I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to bring it up here. 100 equals 12.5 times A. And then there's one last step to get A. I'll divide both sides by whatever's next to A, which is the 12.5. So A equals 100 divided by 12.5, and if you do that on your calculator, you're going to get 8. Okay, now we can't just report our answer as 8. That's incomplete. All right, we need to do more. So what are we missing? Oh, we're missing a unit. Well, what is the unit for A? Well, you have that in your notes here. A, and the unit is m over s squared. So 8m over s squared. Might be a good idea if I went too quickly through the math, you can just replay each step of the math one at a time, and just the important thing is if you do a math move like 0 times 5 is 0, for instance, was our first math move, and then I got rid of the 0, and then I just rewrite it every time. Okay, so when I did the 5 squared and got 25, I literally rewrote the whole thing. I wrote 100 again equals a half a, because I didn't change any of those. I didn't change the 100. I didn't change the equals, half, or a. All I did was do 5 squared on my calculator, and I got 25. So make sure as you go through the steps, write out all your work math-wise, okay? And, for instance, when I did half of 25 and I got 12 and a half here, I just rewrote 100 still equals, but I wrote 12 and a half instead. I had to rewrite the a. So don't forget that part to just show all your work, or else you might get a little lost along the way, okay?